Stars Are Out Tonight by David Bowie is pretty much just a 3-chord song, at least on the acoustic guitar part. And for the verses, it's only really using 2 chords. It's going to alternate back and forth between F sharp minor and D major. It's going to hold each of those chords for 2 bars. If you're not yet really happy playing bar chords, then there is a way to simplify this a little bit. If you get a capo and put it on fret 2, you can change that F sharp minor into an E minor, and then the D chords would become C majors. Choruses, which I'm counting as the part where he sings "Their jealousy spilling down," is where the first chord change comes in. We're going to add an E major chord in front of the usual pattern. We're going to go E major, D major, F sharp minor, back to D. And then it's going to repeat those 4 chords round again. If you're still playing this with the capo on fret 2, then that E major becomes a D major for you. The only other different part in the song is a break which appears towards the end, where we have to use some octaves shapes and slide them around. We're going to start on an F sharp up at fret 9, move down to an E at fret 7 and a D at fret 5. But we're going to transition between each of them by sliding up 2 frets each time. So that beginning one at fret 9 for the F sharp, then we're going to slide up to fret 13 with this finger and back down. And it's going to repeat that starting at fret 7. And then the same thing starting at fret 5 with a D octave. Finally finishing up at a C sharp octave rooted on fret 4. You can play this whichever way you feel comfortable. You can do it with the ring finger playing the octave, or your little finger if you prefer. Okay, let's talk about the electric guitar parts. These move around all through the song and play all sorts of different things, so I'm just going to stick to a few of the familiar riffs that keep appearing through the song. The most obvious part is the intro, which is a little piece played at the 4th and 5th frets on the G string. What we're going to do between these 2 notes is we're also going to include the open B and E strings on top of that. And we're going to bend the notes slightly. So we start on the 5th fret and we hit that twice. And then down to the 4th fret, we're going to bend up to the 5th and then release back to the 4th. After that, he often throws in this little riff down at the 2nd and 4th frets. You can hammer on or slide that. During the verses, you also often hear this little riff played around a D chord shape. You can play that in the open position, but I think he also sometimes plays it up here. It's important to let those notes ring out between the strings. The other really noticeable part, to my ear at least, is this slidey thing that goes up really high. So I'm starting at the 7th fret just because that's an F sharp and it sort of makes sense with the slide. I'm sliding up to the 14th fret on the B string, hitting the 17th fret on the high E, and then down to the 14th fret on the G. You could also play that on different strings if you prefer.